Here at Williamsburg, we value student voice in much of the work we do. Students have been creating PSAs to talk about the things that matter to them.
And finally, after watching the entire PSA, in your opinion, what do you think was most effective about the PSA? All year we focused on seeking the truth, telling the truth, this important information to the world. And PSA piggybacks on top of that. We're still trying to find this important information about important issues. But more so, we're trying to persuade the public to do something about these important issues.
We created a PSA about LGBT bullying. Our sort of main character in our PSA would be the kid that doesn't have any friends and sort of got bullied around. And then it came to a point where people would start standing up for that person and joining along with them.
You aren't alone. Contact the Trevor Project now to get help.
Did anyone observe anything they thought was particularly effective about this PSA?
The walk and how the music kind of pulled everything together and showed that this was a really important topic.
Do you think that sometimes issues like these are difficult for kids to talk about?
Yeah, I do think they're difficult to talk about because they can be really personal and some people might not want to admit it.
The students came up with the topics themselves. These are issues that they felt a personal attachment to, that they have experience with, things that they think are important.
I think it's really interesting just to be able to creatively show what is going on in the world. And I know that a lot of people do. I've seen them in their cars texting and driving. And I know that a lot of people get injured. I've seen stories about it on the news, but nobody really seems to talk about it as one of the major threats to people.
So as they're working on these PSA projects, I think that they can very effectively communicate it to other students here in the school.
I died protecting my country.
I died protecting my community. I died surrounded by my loved ones. I died texting while driving.
Maybe for the first time, other students are challenging themselves to think about it and to really consider it, what it means to them personally. And then maybe they'll want to do something about it.
Once you're addicted, it's really hard to tell yourself to do something that you can't stop doing. So we target the friends, so the friends and loved ones would help the person overcome their addiction. We did a PSA about drug abuse, and not what the abuser does, but what the friends of the abuser can do. You need to stop. This is becoming a serious problem.
You're right. I do have a problem.
Okay, here's what you can do. First, find an adult you trust. Because in the 2016 world that we live in, we're based around technology, we're more centered around it. And someone puts out a PSA, then it's going to target a bigger audience than just sort of other ways.
Visuals can really get to someone if they've had a personal experience with it and then they see it happening again, then they can make a stand if they want to.
I think it really is an effective way to communicate because our school is 1,100 kids. And if we can just reach them and their families, if they go home to their families and talk about it, that's a lot of families that have just learned about this issue.
You have the impact to really set their mindset on issues. So if you tell them things early on, it'll really affect their lives.
Here at Williamsburg, I think that our faculty is really united in creating a safe environment, an area where kids can feel comfortable talking about their issues with one another and with the adults that are here. We really care about them.